Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to
Hello,
DevKami.
everyone.
Yep. This is DevKami number. Is it 153 or 154?
One fight,
Forgot.
one fight. Three. I
153,
think
one five three.
just call it three.
Yes. So I have. Okay, so I'm swimming, and the monk
In Chile.
beside me is Chilean. Tristan is not around. I think he might be busy. This is delivery time. We actually, even I have,
Live long
we
and
have
prosper.
something to, yeah, everyone have.
Yeah.
Actually, it's toward the end of the year. We actually have a lot to deliver toward the year. We're software engineers. That what that
Yeah,
means is that
I,
we deliver at the end of the delivery time.
I shave my head whenever we start. We had. I had to be. I'm in the lockdown.
Yeah. All
So,
right. That being said, I'm going to open the. I'm going to show my screen. How do I share screen? That's funny. Oh,
I hit it for you.
yeah. So the first thing that happened is we actually have multiple things actually. Uh, uh, this time we have. I lost my event. Where's my dev coming? Oh, actually, it's here. So the first, actually, it's not this. The first thing that happened is actually Camp Singapore. It's online, meaning you can actually attend. And it's actually, more importantly, you need to get. Originally, they're doing it on Gather Town, the paid Gather Town. Uh, I think for some reason, either way, they paid for it. They managed to pay for it. So the sponsor managed to pay for it. So you can join for free. The talk is not too bad. The talk is pretty good. Singapore, the trend is that almost always this loud. I mean, technically, it's what you should see is there, like, put it this way. So you got the basic like orchestration, web security. Then you would have like open source. Uh, so yeah, it's
Do
unlike the
we have
previous
do we
weekend.
have a track of cryptocurrency?
Oh
Are
no,
we
it
gonna have?
is good. It is
Okay.
good. We don't have cryptos down here, which lead to one of my complaint, very recent complaint, because I have uh, on the online chat, I talked to a crypto person that I developed a bad opinion. But more about that later.
I
Today's
think the
chat
problem is
day.
not because we are a bunch of cryptocurrency haters. It's
Snobs.
just that there's very it's very hard to find uh, discussion that doesn't involve that involve just the tech. So
Yeah,
that is why like back then also whenever there's a cryptocurrency involved in meetup, it's
yeah.
like it's very hard to filter them out. And also even though the topic might be technical, they're gonna it's gonna attract crowds that are not.
Correct. So it always goes off topic.
And then
But either
yeah,
way, first
yeah,
event is Git camp. Join if you can. It's a whole day. Oh, actually, it's not the whole day. Interesting. It's actually in the afternoon. Fascinating. It's always in the afternoon, except on Sunday.
good.
Sunday will end in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
everybody is is awakened by that time.
So either way, I suggest you join. The talk is pretty good, and yeah, and it's free. Why not? Then the next event is Rust Meetup Kit on November. Finally,
Yeah, Wednesday.
it's on Discord. Then Sean, I will give him talk because Sean is almost converted. So yeah, also interesting story, but let's not go there. Let's not go
Yeah,
there.
if you would want to know about the story, just join the meetup.
Yeah, but either way, Russ, Sean. Sean is a very good engineer, so he will learn something out there. And actually, that's about it. That's about it for
Yeah.
events. So yeah, this is your ticket page and first thing, Zendesk bought out SurveyMonkey parent company. It's not SurveyMonkey. It's more like the owner of SurveyMonkey for $4 billion. Then the stock plummet, and of course, Momentic Global also dropped for 99%. So yeah, Is interest acquisition. Do not know why, but interest acquisition. SurveyMonkey, I do not. It's amazing they're still alive. I
Do you
mean,
use any
nowadays you can.
product from Zendesk?
Zendesk are doing support. They're doing support. If you do support, chances is you will use Zendesk unless you're too cheap, or you think that Zendesk is too complicated. Because Zendesk at one time they don't actually corner the product, but they do a lot of the right thing. As a result, that they are one of the big one that provide support services, issue trackers and all that, with a focus on tech support. So that's what Zendesk does. In fact, some of the game company, if you're a beta player, you may use Zendesk, but but a lot of the smaller studios use something else. So the biggest customer is still the enterprise market people. So which I think SurveyMonkey is actually very weird as a purchase. But next thing, so the developer event, GitHub developer event just end last week.
Did we have a Hacktoberfest this year?
Yes, we do, but it's not as
Okay.
big as we thought. As in
Yeah.
last year, it's big because there is a scandal and all
Yeah.
that. This year it does happen, but they do it a lot smaller.
Yeah, just that just October just passed. It's
Correct.
really really fast. Probably it's just a busy month for me.
Correct. We are all busy because I had to deliver some stuff, some of the new movement of my employers to the direction. So, yeah, it's pretty big for me. It's just that I try to split time to Slack and then
So
Github.
when is the universe, or it happened already? Oh, it happened on 27th.
Yeah, it's last week. This happened last week, I think, and last week. So the new GitHub issue experience is now in beta in public, so you may see it. Then there is release notes, automatic release notes, which is actually awesome because we developers sucks at release notes. Seriously, we sucks at that. Then there is GitHub Action, proper CI/CD with GitHub Actions. GitHub Action is there to automate GitHub. Or people also use that to build software. So this will happen. Command palette, you already seen that. This was like the Visual Studio
If you
Code and all
use
that.
if you use some of the modern one, it's like the command, basically command palette.
Correct.
Like if you speak VS Code, it's like the Control P or Command P.
Mm-hmm. So this is like MergeQ. MergeQ is awesome actually. So what happened is, sometimes when you build software, right? The thing is, multiple people build the same thing at the same branch, but those branch don't talk to each other. As a result, you need to rebase and all that. So now you actually had a queue to make it more manageable. So I think it's cool. It's not available to everyone yet. I think I might add in my day job, but because we pay for it, but I don't think we have it. But I think it's cool. I think it's very cool to have it so that.
I think having to rebase is depend on the use case. Having to
Correct.
rebase is a bad foundation to begin with. A normal
Correct.
working tree shouldn't be rebased frequently.
Correct. So
Just my opinion.
yeah, precisely. If you do it properly, you don't actually need to rebase all the time.
Yeah.
As a result, sometimes some organization actually do very bad practice, branching practice. But this is what happened now, and this is where tools actually help you to make things correct. Either way, I think it's cool. So next thing, let's quickly go through it. Codespace Improvement, awesome. New Vim and JetBrains have GitHub Copilot. So meaning I can use it on PyCharm. You get all the bad code. So here's the funny thing.
It can auto complete your code using others' code.
Actually, this is not the meta part. It's not about Facebook. The meta part about this is a big part of GPT Copilot
GPL.
are trained with GitHub data with GPT-3. So from the GitHub data, you
Okay.
feed into your
How about the
IDE.
licensing?
I do not know yet. I think they use it. I think this is still commercial actually. So I
No,
think
I
you have to
mean
pay
the.
for
I
this.
mean, yeah, I understand the base of Copilot is proprietary, but how about
Yeah.
the code that it auto completes from? What about like code
Still
with
being
GPL?
debated. Still being debated. Still being debated.
Yeah. Or what if it's proprietary?
Yeah, that's where things get really interesting and people
I
are
mean,
still
GPL doesn't scare
poking.
people sometimes, right? But if you mention
Correct.
proprietary, then it might everybody,
Correct.
oh shit, how about my code? But I think they
But
have
not
something like of a public accessible code, right?
correct.
But
So
public accessible doesn't mean that it's is free and open source.
correct. So this is what happened now. There's still been debate on the implication now. But to me, it's interesting because if whatever you code feedback to Copilot, it means that you're using your data to train the AI, which in turn feed you with things, and it's a big circle. Code scanning for Ruby, which is awesome. Every code scanning is awesome. Then custom repository roles, awesome. I think I made. Oh, it's still in beta. I have some use for that because I need to tighten security. So either way, a lot of improvement, pretty big, pretty interesting. I also, if you do manage to see what that should tell us, I think things will get really interesting. And GitHub will be like the next generation of IDE, surprisingly. And that's about it. Well, thanks. So,
Netflix games.
Netflix launched games on Android. I did not see it yet. I didn't open my thing yet. Maybe might be interesting, maybe not. I do not know. I didn't look. I didn't know what they provide yet. But yeah,
Interesting,
this
but
is more interesting.
I
Uh
like
huh.
what they say about it's the business is not about just it's about the user attention. It's an attention
Correct.
market.
Correct. So, believe it or not, most of your most of the tech company are what we call attention merchant. I have a book. I don't remember if it's a physical book. It's by Tim Wu. The title is called Attention Merchant.
Yeah.
Very good book. Uh, so I believe that even some other company that came under attention merchant are attention merchant. They just because you're trying to get people to your screen, even though you are selling hardware. So
Yeah.
yeah,
If people have limited time, they're not gonna be able to spend their time doing this.
yes. So this is new Linux release. The big one is better NTFS support. So previously NTFS on Linux is actually a fuse user. It's a user space file system. I think now we have kernel support, meaning it getting closer and closer. But nowadays, if this is NTFS is fully support, then you can actually run natively and even boot the operating system out of it. Uh, which is actually very interesting for WSL, but that's one step at a time. You also get internal SMP server, which is scary, but it is lah. So because Samba used to be very vulnerable. It's one of those places where people used to attack, and you put it in kernel is actually pretty scary. So yeah. Yeah, of course, hardware support. This is a typical thing. That's why you had a Linux release. Uh, it will come sooner or later in your operating system, so don't worry about that. But it will be there. It will be there. So next one, you have an iPhone and you worry about getting hacked using Pegasus. Amnesty International had a tool for you to download. So yeah, So I mean, all platforms have it. So if you're on iPhone, this is the way to do it. And finally, GitHub is changing CEO. The current CEO are leaving, doing his own thing now. And the current CEO do a lot of stuff, and now uh, he passed his role to Thomas Donkey, the GitHub Chief Product Officer. So yeah. So yes, get another thing and final. Oh, this is the final.
Maybe go
MongoDB
ahead.
replacement. I do not know why. Oh, this uses these are the convert the protocol to SQL and use PostgreSQL as a database engine. Why this is weird? I do not know why. It's weird, but it's that. Okay, I'm going to just say that. What do you think? Do you think it's weird or
No, it's not weird. It's
okay?
there's some interesting discussion in I saw this on Hacker News,
Yeah.
and it's I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but some says that the benchmark the performance is even better than MongoDB, but it's safer. I don't know. I have to verify
Interesting.
that. It's just
I mean, just because PostgreSQL can do whatever
yeah.
MongoDB
It's
do,
just a
I,
translation layer, lah.
yeah, it's a translation layer. I just don't think a translation layer will it, but I'm biased. There's a there's a debate. There's a debate on the cabotage issue. Review some project in Selangor, yeah,
Yeah.
etc. Nah.
The I
Uh,
think a lot of the things that I didn't really follow up on this.
yeah,
What actually happened?
nothing really happened other than a minister insisting on the debate, and that's it. So yeah, go developer survey.
I actually
Go
didn't
do
fill it
it.
up.
Okay. Uh,
I actually didn't fill it up. I forgot.
do it so that we have content for DevKami.
Mm, I need
And
to.
finally, this interesting for me because I occasionally do TensorFlow when I'm bored. I know it's not my day job. So what happened is this: you use Python to train your deep learning. Then you convert it to TensorFlow JS with a minimal amount of HTML and JavaScript. Then you can share the web page over. Then people can actually use it. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the idea because the capability for running your neural network on TensorFlow on the browser is there since forever. But the thing is, the translation are not perfect in a way that one, it's actually a lot of work to do the translation, three command and a lot of typing. So it's three four command, but you need to download different thing, and the documentation not really work. And of course, there's always caveat in the way that the JavaScript version do not run all the operations of the neural network. So that it is a caveat, but if anything, this make it easy for you to set up your TensorFlow on your browser for demo and whatnot.
And what is
So
that? Is
yeah,
that a JavaScript?
they convert the TensorFlow to TensorFlow.js, and you use JavaScript to run TensorFlow.js. Then they output as HTML. So that you can when you output your TensorFlow into TensorFlow.js, you can run it on browser. That's the point of it. And more importantly, when we talk about TensorFlow.js, I mean it will run also on the browser, not just on Node.js server. So on Node.js server, you can literally cheat because you can just call because you can't just import the library and do the thing. But browser is more interesting, scary but interesting. And finally, final one, Oracle JTK 17 is now free as in
Yeah,
free
but
tech.
free data rate.
Yep. the free speech version already there since forever, but this is the free data rate version. If you're a Westerner, free beer. So
Yep.
yeah,
Hi, Tristan.
Tristan, welcome.
Welcome. If you see me like also if you guys see me I'm fine. I'm coughing and wiping my nose. It's not because of COVID.
Yeah,
It's because I'm very sensitive to bad air. So people are actually celebrating Deepavali. It's Deepavali today. So they've been
yeah,
playing fireworks and that it sort of irritates my nose a bit.
yes, I know the feeling. You know what? Let me share GitCam Singapore thing to the chat, just because. So I think that's about it actually. So how's everyone? How's your holiday? Do you actually manage to get a holiday?
Yep. I
Oh,
was supposed to be working today, but I decided, yeah, maybe I should just take the holiday off after I heard the
Yeah.
fireworks.
Tristan,
So
why
like,
do you
okay.
why are you in a different background right today?
Oh, I just put the curtain on top of the green screen.
Oh, it's a green screen right now? Oh,
okay.
No, it's
but
a
it looked like
curtain.
wood. Okay. Oh, it
Oh,
looked like
it's
wood
a
to me.
curtain. Yeah.
Okay. No, like it looked like wood to me.
Mm.
Yep. So this is what I do today.
Oh wait, sorry.
I'm going to
Did
put
you?
it on video terminal.
Well, because you're doing that, have you on the Buzz Corner? Did you
Huh?
cover the Raspberry Pi having a bare metal Circuit Python implementation? It was just a few hours ago.
No, give me the link.
Sorry.
Oh, but we add that.
Oh, he left. What happened?
Yeah, it's, he got
What happened
triggered.
to him?
Got, swimming got triggered.
Oh,
Okay, got triggered.
yeah,
Eventually, there will be a
okay.
JavaScript bare metal, and he'll get triggered again, and he'll drop off.
Actually, there's a. I forget to talk about this. It's Raspberry Pi 02.
Yes, that one as well. So there's a Raspberry Pi Zero 2.
Yeah, I forgot.
That was like a few days ago, and then there's
Yeah,
just a few hours ago as well. I saw the news.
yeah.
Adafruit uh, made Circuit Python that boots the Pi
Yeah.
bare metal. So it's just another microcontroller
West.
from for them.
Um, okay.
You can
West
Google
Virginia.
Adafruit. I don't. It's only a few hours ago, so it's not yet on the Buzz Corner. But if you Google Circuit Python
Okay.
Raspberry Pi Adafruit, then you'll see that. Yeah, so it's very interesting because, especially with the Pi 20W coming out, right? So now you have a proper like a really um, powerful chip running
Yeah.
Circuit Python on bare metal. So you don't have to boot an operating system like a Linux operating system
Yeah.
separately just to run Python. So you can run Circuit Python directly on the chip, and it
Okay.
has
Let me.
HDMI out as well.
Okay. It's called bare metal, right? Bare metal.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
found it now.
the Pi Zero 2W is also big news in the Pi world because the Pi Zero, the
Yeah.
original one, it's a
Yeah.
1 gigahertz. Sorry, what? I forgot the speed, but it's a single
Yeah.
core, and it's quite
Correct.
slow. But it's powerful
Yes.
enough if you want, for example, like digital signage, which is what a lot of the
Correct.
Pis are being used for. There's even a
Correct.
distribution just for digital signage. But because the
Correct.
Pi Zero 2W has the exact same form factor, it's a drop-in replacement for the original Pi Zero. So
Yep.
everyone, like those who are running digital signages that want more power, can just get
Yep.
the Pi Zero 2W and drop it in. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to change any custom installations that you have.
Yep.
Whatever equipment that you have, you just replace the board and that's it. Like if
Yep.
the GPIOs, if you need to plug it into GPIO, let's say because you want
Mm-hmm.
custom power directly from the GPIO instead of the USB ports, then you can do that as well. So it's quite an interesting decision they made to use
Correct.
the same form factor.
Also, very interesting in a way that, unlike a lot of these big companies, they design their own CPU. Notice that this is their own branding and all that. It's not just packaging. It's they design. They have their own core. They have this is actually based on the ARM core, Broadcom ARM core, but they have their own design on it. So we also think very interesting actually.
Well, they have, so that means they have monopoly powers on on the manufacturing distribution,
Correct.
because nobody else
Correct.
can manufacture. Unlike, for example, the Atmel, I forgot the name, 32 something,
Yeah.
from that uses Arduino, right? Because
Yeah.
that chip is manufactured separately, and Arduino just is using it on their designs. Someone else can buy the chip separately and say, okay, do an Arduino compatible board. But because
Yeah.
the Raspberry Pi, was it the foundation, the raspberrypi.com, the company
No, it's
owns,
trading. It's
yeah.
Raspberry Pi trading.
So the company owns the rights to the manufacture of the chip, then only them
Yeah.
can manufacture the chip. And so
Correct.
they basically have monopoly power over the pricing, the
Yeah.
availability, the distribution, etc. You can of course
Correct.
buy just the chips themselves, but you have to buy it from Raspberry Pi, not
Correct.
from like ST Micro or like Nordic or something.
Yes. And also, they also do things very differently because when they do the RP for 2040, they literally don't have an embargo like traditional company. So they are a hardware company, but they are not like the traditional hardware company. And also, what happened is they don't just produce the hardware; they actually do support, I believe, because there's some industrial use of the Raspberry Pi, which they actually do some form of custom design for them for, and those are actually money maker. So which I also find
Mhm.
very interesting as a company. So this is the one, right?
You're not showing your screen, by the way.
Am I not?
No, you're
Okay.
not.
Interesting. What have I done? Let me share my window. Share. This is the one, right?
Yep, this is the one.
So it kind of reminds me of, that in early days of PC, personal computers, BASIC is
How
actually
early is
loaded
early
on the
day?
ROM.
You have to give a frame of reference for me.
1980s, 1970s. Is it
1970s,
the
1970s.
mainframe days where you have a
No,
full
no, 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 no,
room
no.
in the computer?
Personal computers. I'm talking about the PC days, personal computers days, the so-called personal computers, not the mainframe. So it's something in the 1970s.
80s?
Uh,
Okay, 70s.
uh, Basic is actually okay. Some PCs have Basic loaded onto the ROM, so it's literally the first thing that got booted up, and not necessarily DOS. It's not necessarily DOS. I mean, in some later they have DOS, but in some computer, the first thing they load is actually Basic. Let me find it. I think I have it. Basic ROM PC. No. Personal computer basic language ROM. So I mean, the first. This actually, if despite that, for some of the computer, the first thing that people load, some people load in the early days are basic. So when you boot up computer, you're not going to DOS, you go to basic, and then you type out your thing, then you get your code. So IBM Classic Basic comes with 30 on read-only ROM, and is actually separate from the BIOS of the original PC. So in a way that now this Python running doing the same thing as basic in the very early days of personal computers. Just a random thing
Well, I think it's the
thinking.
same with what they call this on most computers right now, most Linux computers. Instead of Python or Basic as your scripting language, it's Bash as your scripting language, right?
Yeah.
It's still a programming uh, environment. It's just that it's Bash that's loaded.
Mhm. Correct. But the difference is it's not the first thing you load, right?
Yeah, it's
This
not bare
literally means
metal.
it's the
It's not bare
kernel.
metal.
Yeah. Here you are. Microsoft put the interpreter this, and MS basic or de facto standard in every home computer and included in
Yep.
ROM. So it's
That's
like the
what
first thing they
people
load.
started in programming.
Which is why nowadays, which is why the young kids nowadays only good at computer games because we are
Well,
not forced to use program
So-
all
No,
the
it's
time.
a
so
computer game is a gateway. I would say it's
yeah.
to pique their
I know,
interest.
I'm
Then
just being funny.
Yeah.
I'm
So
just being
for the
funny.
Raspberry Pi though, again, it's an interesting decision to put. So they don't really have something on the ROM. Like if you boot a
Yeah.
Pi
No, it's
without an
different.
SD
Yeah.
card, really only the graphics that's
Yeah.
residing on the ROM, right? But
Yeah.
the ROM that most that you'd expect on a computer, like the BIOS or whatever, they actually
Yeah.
exist on the SD card, and which is why when
Correct.
the Pi needed, I forgot which one was it that they needed, booting from a different device, they had to
Yeah.
like put it on the like they had to change the firmware or something so that it can boot somewhere else,
Yeah.
because it's always been that the SD card contains the initial bootloader and all of that things instead of like an
Correct.
actual chip on the computer.
Yeah. In fact, bootloader. No. So nowadays we don't do that anymore. As a result, you don't have like the first thing you boot is the BIOS or ROM. So nowadays, even your PC, secure boots and all that, you have your own operating system. The first thing you boot is actually the first command, and you have the bootloader. In fact, bootloader programming is very interesting. I wonder if you can find it. It's called like bootloader Tetris. What is it? Tetris?
Nantris.
A Tetris. Okay, I'm sharing the link now. I need to be careful about link sharing because I can't allow you to see my porn. So this is actually this is an example. This example of what people do on the boot sector. So this is more similar to this in a way, but a bit more. So it's more like your bootloader then load CircuitPython and run your operating system. Run it as operating system. But this is similar. But there is a whole community of people actually try to do things like this, right? Boot the whole game. I'm so sorry, my neighbor is insane. Did
But
I drop any-
that's one of the interesting programming challenges you can get yourself, right? The programming inside of
correct.
constraints. Like some would do it within a kilobyte, for
Yes.
example. Some would make it
Yes.
like you can't use conditions, for example, instead of like for when you're programming. So it's a good challenge, and it's a good way to explore um, things like optimization techniques, for
It
example, in
doesn't
this case.
it doesn't
Yeah.
directly beneficial to us developing a project. Regardless of, going beyond programming, is that anything
Yeah.
we try to do can be beneficial to us at least opening our mind
Yeah,
to
this
how
is
things work.
interesting in a way that if you're interested in the machine, then you can boot it. Can you do something out of it? Maybe not, but at least you know. At least you know. That's the point. At least you know. It's one of those things where there's this meme like nobody, then suddenly a person do something, say something stupid. Well, occasionally you need that person to do something to show that it's possible, right? So it's like nobody in the computer industry. Then suddenly somebody create a personal computer, right?
Simic is celebrating right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why don't you
And
like
it's a festival of light.
join with like some LEDs on your new Wheel terminal, like with a festival of light
Oh,
program?
you should tell me earlier because this is what I did in the morning. I tried to use clock, and the other one is the other sound that I have is shatter. So what I'm doing is I try to again stuff a neural network into Wheel terminal, but unfortunately, the documentation of loading the Arduino firmware and TensorFlow is a bit unclear. Wait, what happened? Oh, I thought something is burning outside my window, just fireworks. Okay. So either way, I was doing this, which is why I didn't do other thing on my video terminal. There's thing I tried to do.
Yeah. So what is
So
this again?
So this is actually a sound detector. So
A
what
song
happened is
detector.
sound.
Sound. Mm.
Yeah. So this actually based on I get this from the DK's data set. Uh, Actually, it's the DK's community. They have a data set from Open Sound. Okay, you know what? I lost the. So DK's is a research group, and what they do is that they Open Sound. They had a very comprehensive sound data set. If I can figure out where they put it, I downloaded it. It's in BitTorrent. Oh, sorry, it's not in BitTorrent, but it's too big. It's in 30 gigabyte size. It's 30 gigabyte size. It's insane. But this is what we call what this group do is this group do what we call audio scene. So meaning so for example you would listen to environment, they would have events. So for example you have fireworks event, you would have your clock event, or in my case what I do is I do glass shatter event and clock. And why I have clock, because in the house there nobody's around. You generally have when every time you have a clock, then when something really bad happens, chances a glass might break, then something is really weird happen. So glass is something
They call it the resonance frequency, right? When you hit the
no.
when the
It got nothing to do
glass
with
breaks. No, I mean
yeah.
you mentioned glass breaking.
Yeah. So there's only few reasons a glass break when nobody at home. One, okay, when there's only few reasons glass break. One, somebody sing too high, that's resonance frequency. Somebody drop things, and somebody break the windows. So when nobody at home,
And there's a
so
ghost.
unlikely people sing.
There's a
Yeah,
haunting.
unlikely people sing their way out. So it leads to these two things lah. So and it's so the glass maybe the cat breaks something or whatever.
So,
you get the idea, lah.
since you did it on
Uh-huh.
Edge Impulse and you train it, does it actually work? Have you tried breaking glass and it, I don't know, notifies you, SMSs you or something?
I'm focusing on integration, meaning I'm focusing to put this in. Then I'll put this on the real terminal. Then I will integrate it somehow, either with Blink, which example, or I don't know, maybe just Blink. So I don't have a strong idea where else I'm going to put it. I mean, the device have internet capabilities, so there's multiple way for me to do it. So
Why not opening and closing the door? I think that like open and close door counter. How many times was the door opened or closed?
that is because that's the easiest thing to do. You just it's easy to do with a type of magnetic switch.
Well, yeah, but again, that's the point, right? Like instead of a magnetic switch, which is obvious,
Yeah.
then you can put like a door counter where you can put anywhere basically, and then you can just like count how many times this door was opened.
Yeah, I mean that actually, and also it's actually part of the example. Let me show you the example.
Oh, there is an example for opening and closing doors.
Yeah, no, not exactly closing doors. Was it closing doors or something else? Let me open up the example. I don't remember which is which. The reason why I go for sound is because the example he provides is horrible. He only provide the big idea, but not on the data side set. Oh, I think this I mistaken. I thought this is the one. So also can I use sound possibly, but the data set is. Oh, now I remember. It's called FSD. It's called FSK.
So what programming language were you using for the wheel terminal? I guess MicroPython or Circuit Python or
No, this
Arduino?
one I had to use Arduino because it's the
Mm.
library, and also the binding. The binding. I do not know anybody did a binding for CircuitPython.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, and also there's a little problem with it because every time somebody do try to port TensorFlow Lite, which is what H Impulse based on the Arduino, it will get expiry fast. So, for example, the ESP32 version of TensorFlow Lite Micro, I think it's already outdated. So you have to get it from Expressive, but the Expressive, but they maintain an updated version of TensorFlow Lite Micro is designed for their real-time operating system, their RTOS. It's not meant for the Arduino. So you have to figure out how to port things over. You get really weird. So it's the same. I believe that it's the same for. It's the same for you want to port it for MicroPython or CircuitPython. Then you need to compile. Then you have to constantly update because TensorFlow update every 1 year. So it's actually very annoying. So and you will do it for Arduino. So far, the only reason why this worked very well for Arduino is because Arduino constantly updates it, and I believe either
What
that
updates what the definitions, the board definitions?
no TensorFlow Lite Micro
Ah, well,
library.
I guess so. It's not Arduino that updates it. TensorFlow updates it for the Arduino platform, I think, right? Or
No,
does
it's
Arduino have
officially
something?
you download this from the official Arduino
Mm,
repository. The repository provider when you use the Arduino IDE is from the Arduino. Base,
interesting.
so which is why it's very weird, and I don't understand how they make it work for the SAM series. I strongly believe that it's also because ARM provide all the things that makes it easily port over. I strongly suspect this is the case. So which is why it's a bit weird. So which is why you want to do TensorFlow Lite or Micro or ESP32, it's harder. It's actually a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
And also if you look at the H Impulse, they only have a subset of device being supported for real. Even the VO terminal are not officially supported; is community supported. So, for example, Sony can support that one because they always have the money. Nvidia always with them because literally Nvidia. Then the other thing is literally your seat. Those are community board. So yeah. Because the other way to actually make it work is actually Raspberry Pi, and this is officially supported by the TensorFlow Lite developers, and phone because as long you're on your major platform, then you guarantee to get TensorFlow Lite, then you guarantee to work. So the rest is Nordic must have spent time to support it and all that lah. So yeah, it's a bit weird, but I hope things will get better. I really hope things will get better because uh, H uh, Tiny ML did this whole range of technology called Tiny ML. There's a lot of potential. People use it for various reasons. So, for example, they use it for environmental sensor in place where they don't have internet, so they can write inference on the spot. So, which is more interesting. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I didn't port the code. I tried to figure out how to port it later, but the documentation is horrible. And also,
Mm.
there's a reason why it's actually pretty bad. I'm going to show you. Oh, there's actually something interesting, but I'm going to show you this. So one of the things they do immediately for the integration is that they go through the whole process of modifying the code so that the microphone will load the sound directly into DNA. and you have to do a lot of stuff for it to work. And then I conflicting implementation. So you see here, right? So the I/O device go directly to RAM and onto DMA controller instead of the CPU. So you have to write a lot of code, and it's there, but I do not know whether I want to copy and paste.
So is this the STM32 or just how they laid out the peripherals?
This is not the STM32. This is the SAMD51, I think.
Ah, okay.
So so either way, they have to. This for the optimization. I don't even know whether I need to do this. So I'm trying to find out, which is why the integration is not straightforward. So yeah, that's my little rant. But it's interesting, and also another thing I learned from here. As it turns out, some of the sound from the data set is in 25 minutes, and some of the sound are repeating. So what you do, what each impulse can do is they have a signal processor that can read through the signal, then they can help. There's a feature called split signal. Unfortunately, I did split up all my signal, so I can split up into multiple 1 second, then a 25 minute, a 25 minute, a 25 minute, sorry, a 25 second sound sample can easily give you like 10 extra sample for your data set.
So it automatically splits the data for you, or do you have to mark it?
I have to mark it, but once I mark it, it's automatic. They did a pretty good job automating it, because some people do not want the sound to be split out. Some people want, so they don't have that. But once you have it, then once you do call, ask them to, once you literally call this thing, I don't know whether you call that actually is data acquisition. All I do is like call like split sample, then you auto split it. So 100 data set can easily turn to like another 10. So let's say you have a whole data set of, you have 10 25-second sample, then you can easily get 100.
Yeah, but you still need to look into the waveforms and then mark it yourself, right? So it's not as automated as
no.
Because it doesn't know what to look for, right?
No. Put it this way. The one good thing about this data set is first you have to vet the data set. You have to vet your data set. So for example, so a good example I already split it up, but the clock data set that I have alarm and also the TikTok sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is I have to vet the sound, and anything with alarm, I do not want it. Then if those waveform that I know roughly is the TikTok, I can listen just to check. Then what happened is the signal processor can automatically extract all the TikTok because that sound is automated, and they just look at peak and call it done. And for the sound that is a bit too flat, what they do is they actually increase, they add the contrast, then they put the signal processor for it. It only works if you have it only works well if you know that the sound are 100% repeating. So let's say, for example, for the shatter sound, so the data set I have, like, they repeat the sound 3 times. Then I listen to the sound, then I extract it correctly 3 times because there's no other sound for it. And this way it works. So if you have complicated sound, then it doesn't work at all. It's one of those signal processing thing lah. It's a signal processing algorithm. Signal processing algorithm works well if you can see the peak and you know the peak are repeating. And so, for example, the way I'm talking right now is horrible. But if I talk slowly, then the signal processor can extract my component. So this is the Fourier transform and all that. Very interesting stuff, actually, signal processing. And I'm glad to actually have take a semester class out of it because it's a requirement for my AI degree. Random stuff that I know. So either way, that's what I do. And another thing, which lead to my second update. I think I have to give up using serverless to actually compile our website.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that to use the internet, I need to set up the whole thing with the net gateway, but the net gateway is expensive. Even though I don't use it and nothing use it, they still charge me by hour it's allocated. So I got charged 15 US dollar,
Wow, that's
even though I'm not
expensive.
using it. Yeah, it's expensive.
But I thought that serverless will get you like cheaper costs because they bill like more fine
Uh,
grained, right?
no, the problem is the net gateway. The net gateway uh, are the one with the public IP and all that. They're the one that allows the
Mm.
serverless to talk to the internet
Strange
through
though
that.
that they make, well, like internet access is one, like it's a quite a large requirement for serverless, right? Like if you have a lot of serverless functions but no way to reach them, then that's kind of like
No,
useless.
you only need internet gateway. That is free. So because that is net, so what they do is they just forward internet in. But having the serverless instance to access the internet the other way, that's the one that's expensive.
Mm, mm, okay.
Anything from internet gateway in that is cheap. That is literally doesn't cost a lot. But when I want to use the serverless instance to scrape a website, for example, that's where things get expensive. If I want it to, let's say, call an API, that would be expensive. So you better justify it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you had a serverless instance to call your MailChimp. Then you better make sure that that thing actually makes you money to cover back the MailChimp
Mm-hmm.
and all that.
So
So
what
yeah,
are you planning to do now?
I
Because
might do a local
the
version.
yeah, the easiest way is to just do it at build time. Like depending on how proficient you are at Go and Hugo,
Yeah,
like when you build the website, you can just like
yeah,
how do you say, scrape the buzz corner links and then create the actual files, and then
yeah.
then you push the repository.
There's another way is yeah, I don't have a strong idea lah, because at this rate, because I have a VPS instance that I'm using for to host my portfolio anyway. I may use that as the scraper server to do whatever they need to do.
Mm.
Then, if that's the case, then I don't go through the complexity of serverless calling different things too. It's good learning. It's really cool learning. It's just that financial way it doesn't make sense. So
Yeah,
yeah,
well, it's up to you. I mean, I would do it differently, but you're the one who wants to work on this one,
yeah,
so yeah,
yes. Because
whatever
I know
works.
that I know that the summarizer works. I know the
Mm-hmm.
summarizer
You
works.
don't need to be on as long as there's something that always on, the rest is just you need something to host it. So you can have even like I bet all of us have a lot of like Raspberry Pi or something lying around, probably something that
Yeah, yeah,
do
yeah,
that kind of work
yeah.
for us.
Correct,
Then we
correct.
just need to publish
So
the end result.
yeah, it's not too bad. I can even use this computer to do things because this thing is a powerhouse that I could actually use it for things. So, I want to do the hack interesting way. The option is there. The option is there, right? From my portfolio server that I use for my portfolio purposes uh, to my servers, to my spare Raspberry Pi. There's option and my computer. Oh, and I'm Unify. There's Unify level where I get public IP, so I can even go crazy over it. So the option is there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a fun part.
Well, let's see. Let's
So
see you
let's
next week. You're probably working on it tomorrow. Did you take a leave tomorrow? And
no
anyone else?
no, I'm not taking a leave tomorrow because I
Mm.
literally have a deadline. Because it's a big deal. The the company had some big things we need to release now. So
Mm. But yeah, so
yeah,
I'm also not taking leave tomorrow, so probably on the weekend then. So looking forward to
yeah,
next week. Let's see if we have a Buzz Corner automator, and
yeah,
that way we actually have like summarized posts there, and then the next one will be a newsletter that will be automatically generated from picked Buzz Corner articles, I guess.
yeah, correct. But this weekend I might be distracted because of Camp Singapore. So there's
Mm.
that. So I might go there. So let's see. Let's see. It's not urgent, but it's interesting. It's interesting. So,
Yeah.
and as of now, I have no plan for next week. So I have no
Mm.
idea what to topic to go on for next week. Let's see whatever happens next week, then we try to go from there.
Mm. Oh, by the way, next week, Wednesday morning, I'll be
Yeah,
hosting a fireside chat with an advisor to the CTO of HashiCorp. You know, the people
yeah,
from Vagrant and Terraform.
yeah, 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 yeah,
This
yeah,
is together with Forkwell. So people might want to, like, whoever's watching here might want to also watch that. A lot of people
yeah,
are like, so because it's Forkwell, so it's like the Japanese market. So
yeah,
they're doing, a lot of the people there will be Japanese viewers, but they do speak. I mean, I'm speaking English at that point, so most likely the presentation and the fireside chat would be
yeah,
in English as well. So you might want to tune in. But it's in the morning though, 9 a.m. Wednesday. Tentatively, we'll probably
yeah.
like confirm it, like confirm. But that's at least the pencil date.
Yes, that would be really interesting. And also, I know what happened with the week after next week or the end of the month. I believe that Bango.js is shipping next week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so regarding the
And
shipping, so I was wrong with the DHL to Malaysia. I guess it's really super expensive. Even just
yeah,
in Europe, it's super expensive because that was the
correct,
original plan. So I guess they're just doing
correct.
like
Airmail.
normal track, yeah, airmail, but track airmail.
Yeah.
So we'll see
So
when it actually arrives. Probably 2 weeks from the UK.
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Do you get anything extra?
I got the charging case, the charging
Okay.
cradle. So you
Okay.
can
I
put
mean,
it on your bedside, and then it's just charging, and it's on its side, so it looks like an alarm or a
yeah,
desk clock if you're not
yeah.
using it.
So because I tend to leave it anywhere as to charge, but I do get Pub.js just because.
Hmm. Oh, PUBG is
So
nice. So it's
yeah.
actually quite a good quality because I got it like a few years ago as well. Um, the silicone cover is quite good. The buttons are
Mm-hmm.
quite nice, and it's
Yep.
great. For example, if you can program it as a human interface device, like a
Let
keyboard.
me
So it's a
show.
single
Let me
click,
show.
right?
What we're talking about, so that
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
don't
so
get
you can
confused.
program it as a human interface device, which is like a single key press. So it's great, for example, if
Uh,
you have a book reader, let's say, and it
yeah.
accepts like a keyboard through Bluetooth.
Yes.
Then you can have a page turner, and then maybe double click to go back or something like that.
Yeah. So they have built-in sensor and all that, but you can do a lot more things than just a HID
Hmm.
device. You can definitely do that, but you have the wireless hacking thing here as well. NFC
Well, it doesn't
uh,
read like NFC.
is transmit. It,
Yeah, it's an NFC transmitter.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's transmit NFC. But what kind of wireless do they have? Bluetooth only, right?
It's
Yeah,
an
yeah,
NRF
Bluetooth.
52A32. So yeah, it's Bluetooth 5.0.
Yeah, but it's already very interesting, which is what drew me. If
It
any, you
has
can
IR though. So yeah, you can use it for controlling your air conditioner if you have the IR
correct
codes.
or TV
It has
as well.
like a gyro and accelerometer. So one of the
Yeah,
projects that I've seen in the forums is that
dog tracker.
tachyometer. Sorry,
Okay, yeah.
what? A
Oh, I'm thinking.
tachyometer.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So when something is rotating, right, and you want to
Yeah,
measure its speed. So someone put
yeah,
a puck in the middle, and then and then it just rotates, and then depending on the readings from that, you can do it like wirelessly. You can find out like how fast it is and control like maybe as a governor of a speed that's wireless, not connected to the circuit of the actual rotating machine. So that would be interesting.
Yeah. So either way, if anything happen, we probably going to get this end of this month, very likely end of this month. If it's earlier, that whenever it come, it will still be a DevKami topic lah. Even though I don't like JavaScript, but
Why
that
you don't like
probably looks
JavaScript?
Well,
That's next week.
there are two versions of JavaScript. I would say there's the server version and there's the browser version. Which
Yeah.
kind are you not, or is it the language itself?
It's the most server, but you know
Yeah,
what?
it's
I think
the-
that's next week.
Yeah, so the platform, the language seems to be fine. I guess it's the server platform that you're not happy about, which I also agree. Um,
Yeah.
it makes sense on the
also-
browser because everything is asynchronous, but you're just like flagellating yourself when you do it on a
I
server
would
where
say is
you don't
that
need
if I would need
asynchronous
to
stuff.
do a comparison, it's like initially it was the language was as a scripting for the web page.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that it's just like we try to use Bash to do everything.
Yeah, and also why the hell you use if things are not meant to be asynchronous? Why you use await and that's
No,
crazy.
it's getting better as time goes, but
Yeah.
yep.
That's next week. I just figured next week's topic.
I wouldn't say it's a bad
Why
thing.
I
It's
like
like
Golang and why
it's
I like
like coming.
JavaScript.
I'm from
Yeah, I
the
know.
I'm from the Flash ecosystem. I wouldn't say it's bad because it's a considerably more open platform than
I
last
would,
time.
browser side. I think it's not that bad. Like well, there's not a lot of choice, but still,
Yeah.
it's not that bad. But I wouldn't
Stockholm syndrome.
willingly choose to program JavaScript on the server, and we'll probably will
Yeah.
talk more about that like next week. We should invite someone else as well.
Yes. I mean, one complaint is one of my team members really like JavaScript and he had been pushing it. I don't like it. I can work with it. I don't like it, but that's next week. With that said, thanks for
I think also they
inviting
don't
us.
like it because of the also is you have to take over people code. So a lot of the complaints actually came from when we had to take up codes from other people. Then you
Oh,
kinda
actually, he had to support my code, so I cannot complain. And he's the one that pushed for JavaScript. So okay. I mean, at least it's
JavaScript or
not
TypeScript?
code. I might go for you know what
JavaScript or TypeScript. I think at least TypeScript allow you to skip a lot of the foot guns.
if I were to start a project on the ecosystem, I would do TypeScript.
No, I just convince
I
people
will also set.
not to use JavaScript on the server. Maybe PHP is even passable. Like
Yeah, unfortunately,
JavaScript
he
is
likes it
just
so much.
To say
Unfortunately,
it's
my colleagues,
too honest.
my colleagues like JavaScript so much. You think that I will convert? I can't convert to JavaScript. I try my best to learn it. I can
I think
tolerate
you can
it.
use some derivative weird. We can talk about this like next week.
Next week.
You can put in some weird derivative for him to use. I get scared.
Put it this way, at least it's not very firm. And I think you know what is relate. Some people are nuts from the fireworks. So thanks for indulging us. Next week, I will rant about language. So thanks for listening. Goodbye. Shall we click end? We should click end in 5, 4,
Bye.